Okay, so eliminating the wordiness and redundancy. Two ways to do that, using fewer words and deleting repeated information. The deleting phrases that don't add meaning, using one word in place of a phrase, and avoiding repeating words and ideas. Okay? So 3 things to look for. So first example, deleting phrases that don't add meaning. So in our first example, we have this paper will focus on the Great Migration and the reason why it had a huge impact on urban life in the United States. When we did our essay writing, I told you guys over and over and over, this paper is about. I am going to write about. I'm going to tell you about. Do not put it in your essay, right? If you remember nothing else, you remember me telling you that? Yes. Okay. This is why. It doesn't add any meaning at all. So we're going to take it out. Okay? Also, and the reason why, remember me saying, don't put that in your essay? Those kinds of words don't add any meaning. So we're going to take them out. So, to tighten up that sentence, to make it more concise, you delete the phrases that don't add meaning. So it becomes, the Great Migration had a huge impact on urban life in the United States. The reason why it's gray, you're taking it out. Okay? Second example, use one word in place of a phrase. During the time that World War I broke out, factories in northern cities had a need for more workers. To make it more concise, you change during the time that becomes when World War I broke out, factories in northern cities had a need for becomes needed more workers. See? Seems simple enough, right? Okay. Number 3, deleting repeated information. Avoid repeating words or ideas. Okay, probably the easiest thing to look for in a sentence. By the end of 1919, 1 million African Americans had left, leaving the South for cities and urban areas like Chicago, New York, and Detroit. So we have had left, leaving the South, and then for cities and urban areas. Well, had left, leaving, they literally repeat the same thing. Right? Had left, leaving. So obviously you're going to take that out. And then cities and urban areas, that's an urban area is a city, so that's a repetition. And then they go and they tell us what those cities are called. So again, we have repetition. So we're left with, by the end of 1919, 1 million African Americans had left, because we need that first, had left the South for cities like Chicago, New York, and Detroit. Sure. No. You'd probably lose convention points, I think. Maybe, depending on how hard they were grading. But for 7th grade, I'm not even sure that it would be that. About what? Never mind. Okay, let's move down to some practice. The Great Migration was the largest, biggest mass movement of people in the U.S. in U.S. history. So, what do we do? Okay, Drake? So, what do you want to do? Okay, so you want to take out biggest. Okay. Anything else? Mason? Take out mass, because largest, biggest, and mass all mean the same thing, don't they? Okay, but largest is the better of the three words, is it not? Okay, so then we are left with the Great Migration was the largest movement in U.S. history. Okay. Number 2. In the early 1900s, at the turn of the century, most African Americans lived in the South. What do we do here? Okay, Mason. Okay. Why? Yes. Okay. So we can take that out. In the early 1900s, and you do need the comma. Lived in the South. Taking out at the turn of the century, it's just a repetition of in the early 1900s. In the early 1900s, it comes first in our sentence, and it's the most specific piece. Okay, I also would like to point out that there's no punctuation between the 0 and the S. Okay, just put the little S after the 0. It's perfectly happy there. Okay, ma'am. Oh, sure, let's go to number 3. They worked as sharecroppers, farming the land as part of the sharecropper system. What do we do? Easy. Well, then, why? Well, yeah. So, but then you're left with what system? It's also repetitive. What do you do? Drake? Repetitive. Says sharecropper twice. Anybody that didn't sit on last period's class? What do we do? Sanaya, take a shot. No, we need farming. No, we need that. All right, Mason. Yeah, we take out the last part. Yeah, so we stop at farming the land. So all we need is they worked as sharecroppers farming the land. We don't need to know, this is repetitive, as part of the sharecropper system. Being a sharecropper, farming the land, that is the system.
What is a sharecropper?
It's like renting farmland, and they're working off their rental debt by working the land. Well, that's how they did it then. It wasn't a successful system at all. It was set up very unfairly, I believe. My history is not the best. They worked as sharecroppers, but these are just example sentences after all. Farming the land. Okay. Ready? Oops. All right. Number 1. So here you have your sample of instructions. Choose the answer that best revises the sentence without changing its meaning. Stay on task. Okay? Oops, that's too big. Try not to add your own narrative to these. So we have African American people and families wanted to live free from poverty and violence. Well, that's our sentence. So we need to revise it. So it's asking us to do, revising it without changing the meaning. So obviously no, it's too wordy. So A, African American people and families wanted to live free from violence. No. Okay. Pretty much. B, African American families were free from poverty. No. Okay, so you're saying no to A and B. African American people and families wanted to live free.
No.
Why yes? But is that really the important part of that sentence? Now remember, the objective is to revise the sentence without changing its meaning. Okay, so we have African American families wanted freedom from poverty and violence. We want it to be, well, we want to use some of the same words. So what we're taking out is people, because we have families, well, families are made up of people. So you can take out people and they wanted to live free from becomes, to live free from becomes, to live free becomes freedom. Different circumstances. Okay? Number 2. Newspaper ads telling about jobs that were located in the North and West were able to convince people to move to those areas of the country. What do we do? Izzy? And turned it into what?
Couldn't you just let newspaper ads or news ads telling about jobs which were located north and west?
Okay, well hold on, because none of our answer choices say telling about jobs. So maybe let's look at our answer choices. Is it what? A, newspaper ads for jobs in the North and West convinced people to move to those regions. Well, that would be those areas of the country becomes regions. That's taking the phrase and turning it into regions. Does that seem reasonable? Yeah. Okay, so newspaper ads for jobs, that's telling about becomes for. Reasonable? Okay. In the that were located in the North and West becomes in the. taking out unnecessary stuff, so that's reasonable. Convinced, we're able to convince just becomes convinced. People to move to those regions. So what do we think?
I think yes.
Okay. So do we need to look at these?
No.
Okay. Well, we can look at real quick. Newspaper ads were able to convince people to move to those areas of the country. Where are those areas? So that's not an option. Newspapers that were located in the North and West convinced people to move to those. We don't know just because a newspaper was there, that doesn't work. Newspaper jobs were able to convince people to move to those areas. How's that work? Okay, so A. Good. Okay, C. 3. Sometimes one family member moved first. Later, the whole family was reunited together. This one you can actually do just as a test strategy by looking at the answer choices. So A says, sometimes one family moved, later they were reunited together. That changes the meaning of the sentence, does it not? So, not an option. B, sometimes one family member moved and was reunited. Completely weird, right? With who? C, sometimes one family member moved first. Later, the whole family was reunited. Okay, that's a possibility. D, sometimes one family member and the whole family reunited later. Okay, again, weird. So that leaves C. Okay. All right, number 4. By 1970, the year of the Great Migration is considered to have ended. The South was home to fewer than half of all African Americans in the United States. All right. A little trickier, just because it's longer and has lots of details. So, when, number 1, A, when the Great Migration ended in 1970, fewer than half of all African Americans lived in the South.
I think that's pretty good.
Okay, well, maybe we should start by looking at our sentence and is there repetition or words we don't need?
But the Great Migration ended, it's better than the year that the Great Migration is considered to have ended.
Okay. Good. So is considered to have ended could be when. Okay, so we could have is considered to have could change to when, right? That could be when.
And you don't have to put the year the Great Migration ended because 1970 is the year.
Yeah, you don't need that. So you could take that out because we have that right there.
And then you could do when the Great Migration ended, like, so could you move 1970 to after ended?
Oh, well, yeah, you can move things around, but we're just looking at what the like what stuff initially in our sentence might be repetition or like the phrases is considered to have, we can change to when.
And then the South, United States, like the South is home to fewer than half of all African Americans. The South is extra.
Is the South or the United States?
Or the United States.
Okay, so in the United States, we don't even need that. That's extra entirely, so we could potentially take that out. So let's look at some answer choices. Okay, well, okay, Mason thinks it could be B too, so let's look at B. By 19, and Drake thinks D, so we'll look at that. By 1970, the year the Great Migration ended, few African Americans lived in the South. So it doesn't say, let's go back into our original sentence, was home to fewer than half. So the B answer choice now says few African Americans. That changes the meaning of our sentence. Fewer than half and few are very different numbers, right? So I don't think we can use that. So not a choice. So Drake thinks D as well. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mason. Well, okay, so we eliminated B anyway. So D, by 1970, the year of the Great Migration is considered to have ended, the South was home to half of all African Americans in the United States. Well, same thing. You run into the same problem. Because our original sentence says fewer than half. And now we have half. So Mason, same problem. Okay, so D is also not an option because, again, half, where'd it go? Half is not fewer than half. Half is more than that. So that changes the meaning of our sentence. We might as well look at C while we're here. The Great Migration is when the South was home to fewer than half. Is the Great Migration when that? Aren't we missing some stuff?
Yeah, you're missing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so that doesn't work. So we have A.
This is at the end of the Great Migration, and it doesn't even give the year.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So for these guys, for the eliminating wordiness worksheet. Okay. So wait. Thank you. Okay. Our neighbor who lives in the house next door has been the recipient of an invitation to the governor's ball. Okay, recipient is receiver of. Yeah, I have to. So what do we do? Okay, remember, a recipient is receiver of, so Izzy? Good. So it becomes our neighbor received what?
You know who that vegan your mom is.
That's
She not that bad. She just don't like. That's the software. I mean, she don't. I think I'm
okay. Random and off task. And you know nothing about my food choices.
I didn't say it like that. Never mind.
You saying y'all personalities name, like how y'all act.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. All right. Did you write this down? Did you get it right? Yeah, you had that exact thing. Fabulous. All right. Number 2. The pies were baked by the parents of the second graders becomes what, ladies and gentlemen? Tyson?
Probably got this one wrong.
Well, take a shot at it.
But I said the second graders parents baked the pie.
That would work. How would it work without changing the beginning of it? Yeah. Yep. Yours would work too. The pies were baked.
It's not.
By the second graders parents. Whether you do it the way Tyson did it and you put second graders' parents in the front or you leave them in the back, don't forget to make them possessive. Okay, with your apostrophe S. Yeah, and you can move up too if you need to.
So this part she had, like, how do you do? Yeah, this part.
Oh, nope, not. Yeah, this is challenge. I'm sorry, I wish I had like a level in between. All right, moving on, please. The number 3, please. The sarcastic remarks that Linda delivered had the effect of causing everyone to become very angry. Just one, please. That's fine. Okay, Avery?
The remarks that Linda delivered had the effect of causing everyone to become angry.
Okay. How do we know, if we take out sarcastic, how do we know why everyone got mad?
Well, remarks are usually negative.
Well, what you just said is remarks. What I just said is remarks.
So it must be negative.
No.
So take sarcastic out.
Yeah, but then why do we know? No.
You're not even laugh at it.
How do we know why she got mad? So we need that. Hold up. So we need that. We need that.
Then the sarcastic joke that everybody had.
You're not going to be allowed to take your test in here, my friend.
What? I didn't say nothing. All right.
Uh-huh.
Better say.
All right, Drake.
The sarcastic remarks that Linda had caused everybody to be angry.
Close.
Linda's sarcastic remarks caused everyone to become angry.
Good. Gavin. Close? Was that right?
Wait, what he said?
Repeat it.
Linda's sarcastic remarks caused everyone to become angry.
Yeah.
Good.
I had that one.
Good. That's good memory from yesterday.
I had good memory.
Well, that was from an hour ago.
But I only had good memory for like good.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, back on task, please. So so we still need sarcastic because we need to know why they got mad. So, we need not sarcastic. I'm sorry. So it's Linda's. Linda's sarcastic remarks. Please stop. Caused everyone to become angry. Okay? On task. All right, number 4. Aluminum is a metal that is very light in weight. And anyone try this one? Okay, close. There's a repetition there. Can you take it out? Good. Well, we can add a word we can keep.
Oh, I think I know that.
What?
Aluminum is a lightweighted metal.
No. Oh no, don't get carried away. I am
It's lightweight.
Is a very
What is the aluminum? Is it very lightweight metal?
no. Hold on. Aluminum.
Is very light in weight.
Yeah. You could say,
Mason said that 3 times.
you can just vary if you want.
You did not hear me.
See, I know something you don't know is the thing. So just let it ride.
Me?
Mm-hmm.
What you know?
It's okay.
Maybe know everything. Oh, we buy him a cold reply.
Okay, number 5. The office manager wanted all the memos to be typed. She wanted all the memos to be typed so that they would be easy to read. What do we do, Tyson?
You take off the second sentence except for so that they would be so that they would be easy to read.
Nice. Why?
Because she is repetition.
Good. It's a straight up repetition. Nice. Okay. So let's start here. The office manager wanted all
Stop going pencils.
all the memos to be typed. So that they would be where here? Wanted all, yes. Well, yeah, you could. Wanted all memos to be typed, sure. So that they would be easy to read. Okay. Number 6. He found his neighbor who lived next door and was 30 years old to be attractive in appearance. No, we're not adding your own, no, remember, on task. We're just revising the sentences. We're not adding any kind of narrative. This is what I meant when I said, remember what your task is.
They're just being very inappropriate.
Jackie. Okay, but we do need the other part. There we go. And it's not your job to judge, it's your job.
Bruh, y'all get vibe.
Does it matter?
I'm saying, why is it 30-year-old?
Out of context, I'm not sure. I mean, we could take it out and say he found his neighbor to be attractive. Yeah, I mean, if it's, you'd rather put he found his neighbor to be attractive, you could do that. You don't. Well, the only problem is needs to be, age appropriate.
That's not easy.
Well, how old is the he?
Good question. He might be 33 or like 30, and then the other one's just like 31. It's a solid.
I don't like this sentence.
Yeah, me neither. Can we exit out and not do it?
take out unnecessary phrases. We'll leave it at that. Number 7, one time I went to the park. My friend, whose name is Jake, went with me and we had fun. And we had fun. We had fun.
What did you say? Me and my friend Jake went to the park to have fun.
Yep.
Wait, can I say something?
Sure. Excuse me.
I went to the park with my friend Jake. And we had fun. What's so funny?
Well,
Daniel.
Daniel, please. There's some extra words there, Tyson, you don't need. Tyson, can you take the couple of extra words out?
Whose name? You don't need no friend name?
Oh, no, we do need it. We do need the friend's names, but he added a couple of words that we don't need.
Let me do this by myself.
Say it again. Say it. What he said?
We don't, stop. We don't need all that extra. Just take the couple of extra words out. Start over.
Oh, no.
Okay, think about it. In the meantime, I'm going to let Mason take a shot at it, too. Give us yours, Mason.
I went to the park with my friend Jake and
There we go. Okay, I went to the park with my friend Jake, but isn't that what you just said?
Yeah.
Take out, there's with my friend Jake. Isn't there a shorter way to take out at least two of those words? Okay, what?
we don't know who Jake
Isn't that what we're taking out? No, we need Jake in there.
You tell
Well,
me what he said, bro.
What's a shorter way to say I went to the park with Jake?
I went to the park with Jake.
What's a shorter, think about it.
I went to the park with my friend.
What's a shorter way to say,
Went to the park to have
okay, or what's the right way to say that?
Me and Jake went
No,
Me and my friend.
Haley,
My friend and I.
thank you.
What she said? I just said. Tyson just said that.
I said like half a second after her.
Okay, Jake and I. Went to the park
This paper smells weird.
and had fun.
You packed up there.
Stop, please. Okay, number 8. On task, ladies and gentlemen. The dog was walked by the girls who were sisters.
The sisters walked the dog.
Very nice.
That's easy.
I know how to walk a dog.
Okay, these sisters
I know how to walk a dog.
walked
The trick.
the dog. There we go. All right. And you're done.
Can we glue it down?
Yes, go ahead and glue those into your